One thing that the millennial generation has to deal with is unpaid internships. In fact, most generations had to deal with unpaid internships. But is it okay to work for free? Let's take a look.
How do you get a job without experience? How do you get experience without a job? The answer for many years in competitive media industries like journalism, publishing, television production, and filmmaking has been unpaid internships. But have unpaid internships been violating labor laws? Law professor David Yamada says it's been a sleeping giant issue for many years. A recent court decision may bring the issue to a head. Interns who worked on the movie Black Swan sued Fox Searchlight and won. The interns, ostensibly on the set to learn the ins and outs of filmmaking, learned more about the fine arts of organizing file cabinets, making photocopies, and taking lunch orders. Tasks that the court found would have required paid employees and gave Fox Searchlight an immediate advantage.
So this all reminds me of, like, you know, the model of paying your dues. You pay your dues, and that's something that the millennial generation has come to reject, which I'm amused by, right? Like, we don't want to stay at a company forever and work our way up the ladder. Like, we want to go, go, go. We want to see advancements in our careers, and we don't want to work for free. And every single one of us did work for free at one point. We were interns at one point. And I like that we're speaking out against it, but I'm questioning whether or not it's really that bad to have an internship where you're not paid. So Jenny, I want to start off with you. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Are you hoping that we get rid of internships and people get paid right off the bat?
Well, full disclosure, I once paid to be an intern.
That's insane.
I graduated in 2008 from college, and it was like the job crisis, awfulness, and I could not get a job to save my life. So I ended up getting an internship, and they said, okay, well, you have to do this for college credit. And I said, oh, no, I've already graduated. And they said, okay, so you have to do this for college credit. So I had to re-enroll in college in a graduate program that I was never going to finish. It's like exploring studies, whatever, and pay for college credits that were going to go to nothing just to do an internship. That being said, it was an amazing internship, and I learned so much more in my internships. I did 5 years of internships, and I learned everything I use today in my job, I learned through an internship. So in a way, they're invaluable, but I think the system is set up in a bad way.
Yeah, I think that there is a lot of room for exploitation and, you know, basically misusing these people and getting them to do stupid tasks that don't actually help them gain experience in their career, as that video mentioned. But I actually had a similar experience. Like, I wanted to work at a very particular newsroom. So I went to a reporter at that newsroom and asked, what could I do? What can I do to get in here as an intern? She's like, you have to take my class. Her class was at Mount San Antonio College, which is like really far away from where I live. I had to drive like an hour and a half at 6 a.m. in the morning to get to her class. And I had to pay for the class, obviously, but finally I got the internship, and that actually slowly led to where I am today. So I was grateful for that situation. But I mean, Axel, do you think that it's fair that people are gaining experience but not gaining any money while they're doing this?
Well, I think, well, it depends on the internship. I had a little bit of both experiences. You know, on one hand, it was a wonderful internship that I learned a lot. You know, you actually were in the middle of the type of field that you wanted to be in. Really, you know, learned a lot of the different issues that you wanted to learn. And then I had the other internship, but all I learned it was to make a damn good cup of coffee, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And so I think, you know, right now when you think about like how much unemployment there is, but yet how many unpaid internships, you know, it seems that there's a discrepancy there, that there's something that we need to be adjusting somehow, because you can't, you know, how many times have we said it, let the intern do it, or have the intern do it, you know, because...
Dude, I wish we did that here at TYT. Like, we have interns, and like, I'm afraid to ask them to get me lunch. Like, I feel like I'm gonna be a diva, but you know, next intern we get, you better watch out, you're gonna go get me my lunch.
And stir your coffee counterclockwise.
Exactly.
You know, I love internships as long as they're productive and they teach you the skill that you want to learn. But I also found that when I was in college, it was about affordability. And so if you have to work and go to school and pay your own bills and do everything on your own, as a lot of first generation college students have to, it's hard to take an internship because you have to work.
Definitely.
And so therefore internships, and I read this recently as well, are looked at, do they favor those with wealth? And so that's something that we have to look at as well when we're talking about unpaid internships, as who is able to take an unpaid internship, and what situations are you missing out on because you're not able to take one?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I think there's a demographic divide, but I think there's also a geographic divide. I know I was able to do the internships that I did because of my location. I lived just outside of Cincinnati, Ohio, and I interned at local news stations there. If I lived, an hour from a city, I probably would not have been able to do that. So I think it is a flawed system that's set up to be against certain individuals, and that's not really fair.
Definitely.
And not only that, but companies seem to just, open up internship. That there's no real program behind it. I mean, the ones that really excel are the ones that have a thought process behind it and actually cost them money to run an internship program. If your internship program doesn't cost you, a certain amount of money, then you're probably doing it wrong, because the internship program is to develop people, to develop an investment. It's an investment on a new generation of folks that can do the job that you're doing.
Should there be a time limit on internships? I mean, I remember one internship I did was 6 months. I mean, is that too long? And
too long.
And should there be like a time limit each week for an internship?
Absolutely. It should be per semester or per quarter, and it should be about 8 to 10 hours. It's per week. It shouldn't be a 30-hour-a-week internship for the next year and a half of your life and hoping that you get a job. And I know places that do that, so it's crazy.
So if there was legislation right now indicating that all employers have to pay their interns at least minimum wage, would you guys be supportive of that legislation, Axel?
I would.
You would?
I would. I think that it's an important step to kind of bridge the gap of what employers need and what people that are coming out of college and they're studying can offer. And I think that that's important.
Jenny?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly would, because I think it would force the companies to reevaluate what they're bringing these interns in for. And if you're giving them a paycheck at the end of every week, you don't want to give them a paycheck for sitting around waiting for you to need them to go pick something up. You want them to actually be doing something of worth. So I think that it would kind of kick them in the pants a little bit.
You guys aren't bitter at all that we all had to deal with that bullshit and then they don't have to do it?
I had really great internships, probably because I was smart and I had good mentors, but I know plenty of people that didn't. So, and I had stipends as well, so that was a little bit different. And so it depends on your experience.
And I'm messing around. Anything that'll help the generation and give you guys experience while getting paid is something that I'm in favor of as well.